迷失在命里，为俘虏牵挂，像一场迷雾笼罩着你呀。淡薄的想法，自在的人啊，像一场春雨滋润着莲花。浮生像落花季，流水年华，寂寂与静谧奔波的人啊，欣然的美丽，看凡尘变化，盛开的绽放，羞耻的升华。倾向自由的云朵，看欢喜随春雨洒落，滋润哭泣的人们，观自在，看花谢花落，让心倾向自由的云朵，飘过海呀，越过山峰，乘着光影，花是为彩虹。
International Dharma Teaching. The spirit of the Buddha's teaching leads to a beautiful and happier life. Wandami to all Sangha attending this event. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Suki Hontu, Namo Buddhaya, Omi Toho, Tashi Dele. Indonesian Buddhist Intellectual Association and Indonesian Buddhist Council Association organized a series of Dharma teaching to welcome Vesak 2556 Buddhist era. The auspicious series started last week with Venerable Master Professor Heng from Chan tradition in Queensland, Australia. Today, we will receive another teaching from His Eminence 12th Zurmang Garwang Rinpoche. On April 24th, Venerable Bhikkhu Luangpor Inthawai Santussako Mahathera from Thailand will be giving the teaching. On May 1st, we will receive teaching from Venerable Ajahn Jayasaro, also from Thailand. The last but not least, we will be listening to Venerable Tan Ajahn Cagino from Thailand as well. My name is Jessica. I will be today's host and mainly speak in English. Our venerable teachers will be speaking in either English, Chinese, or Thai language. But worry not, because we have a handful interpreters who will translate the teachings into 4 other languages: English, Chinese, Thai, and Bahasa Indonesia. So to listen to today's teaching, because our venerable teacher will speak in English, for you who need to listen to English, you stay in your main channel. And as you can see in the screen now, if you need a translation to Bahasa Indonesia, Thai, and Chinese, you can choose interpretation, and then you can choose your preferred language. You will directly listen to the translation. This event will last for an hour and a half. But you can start submitting your questions in the Q&A box. There will be Q&A later for 15 minutes after the teaching. Our team Q&A team will be collecting all the questions for you. And you can type in your preferred language because our team in the background will translate the questions from you and will hand it to me. And I will be the one who read the question in English to Rinpoche. Please make sure your question to the point and related to the Dharma teaching. Before we continue, we will sing Indonesian national anthem and KCBI hymn. Please.
KCBI, Keluarga Cendekiawan Buddhis Indonesia, lapkanlah langkahmu seiring surya memenah kegelapan, menabur ceria, meniti hidup indah bermakna. KCBI, Keluarga Cendekiawan Buddhis Indonesia, yang bernaung bawah panji bodhisatwa, berjuang menegakkan kemuliaan sesama, membuka mata dunia. Singkirkan kemarahan, hempaskan keserakahan, jauhkan kebodohan, demi citra anak-anak bangsa, wujudkan karya nyata bagi Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Satukan hati padukan, prasetya membersihkan hingga sucikan jiwa, demi kerukunan kita bersama KCBI, ikut membangun Indonesia tercinta.
Now, I would like to invite the Chief General of Indonesian Buddhist Intellectual Association, Venerable Bhikkhu Dhammawudo, to give a few words. Please, Bante.
Ashidele, Rinpoche-la. Nice to meet you here. So thank you so much for your timing today, for giving us the precious teaching. And I hope may your teaching to us can bring benefit in our life, in our spiritual life. Then may Rinpoche also good health and all your activity can increase. Dan thank you juga untuk Kotukiman, Ci Ting Ting, dan Miss Selena who translate today. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Venerable Bhikkhu Dhammawudo, for a few words. Now I would like to read a brief profile of our teacher today. His Eminence 12th Zurmang Garwang Rinpoche was a top scholar at the Nalanda Buddhist Institute between 1982 and 1991. Since 1987, he has taught extensively in Dharma centers all over the world in Europe, America, and Asia. The first Kegiatan Dharma Center in Indonesia was founded by Gharwang Rinpoche in Jakarta in 1996. He is presently studying for a master's degree in Buddhist studies in Boston, USA. After completion of his formal Tibetan Buddhist studies and English language at 26, Rinpoche left Rumtek to begin the task of establishing his new seat in Sikkim, as well as re-establishing its original seat in Tibet, and also the setting up of several Zurmang centers in Singapore, Hong Kong, Jakarta, Medan, Surabaya, Pekanbaru, Taipei, and Kuala Lumpur. Rinpoche's great humility and unpretentiousness have endeared and awed many who have been fortunate to meet him. In 1990, the governor of Los Angeles, California, USA, honored him with the keys of the city, making him an honorary citizen of the country, with the aim of promoting a better understanding and practice of the Buddha Dharma. With an understanding of Western culture and his fluency in English, Rinpoche is able to expound the Dharma clearly and directly, showing how an ancient philosophy is still surprisingly relevant in the modern world, perhaps even more so. Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome our teachers today, His Eminence 12th Zurmang Garwang Rinpoche. Please, Rinpoche.
Okay. Hello, everybody there. Welcome to discussion. This is my honor and privilege to be part of so many venerables from so many different countries to share same platform and share Buddhism with you all. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizer, Keluarga Cendekiawan Buddhist Indonesia, and also Bhikshu Dharma Wadu for inviting me to share this thoughts with you all. Today, I'd like to share you what the Buddha Dharma truly means. Actually, this discussion comes from Vinaya, and there are 4 verses, and these 4 verses explains everything about what Buddha Dharma means. And I think this is not just meaningful to all Buddhists. This is meaningful as well as for non-Buddhists, because this explains how to be a good human being. I believe being Buddhist is very precious, but it is more important to be a good human being. Without being a good human being, even your Buddhist, there's no profoundness. Therefore, I believe what I'm going to share shortly will be very, very meaningful. There are 4 verses, and each verses I have actually categorized into 5 subtopics, which may help you to understand the verses deeply and profoundly. The first verses goes like this: do not engage in any acts of non-virtue. Do not engage in any acts of non-virtue. Now, I would like to go further explaining what this means. In everyday life, it is easier to engage in non-virtuous than virtuous action. And this is all due to our habitual tendency for many lifetimes. And this actually explains that in Buddhism, 3 times are interlinked. There's a saying, present, whoever, whatever we are, is actually due to our past karma. What will be tomorrow depends on what we do. So due to our habitual tendency for many lifetimes, we tend to act negatively than positively. For instance, it is much easier to get angry than generate love and compassion. This is because we have a strong habitual tendency for many lifetimes. So it is very important to change our bad habit or act of non-virtue. Is it possible to change? Yes, we can. According to Buddhism, we are the driver. We can decide where we want to be in our next life. Our previous life decided where we want to be. If we do not change, so the second point explains. The second point explains if we fail to change, our acts by following the advice of Buddha Dharma, by Bodhisattvas, by all the gurus, highly accomplished guru, our life will be meaningless. Our life, not only meaningless, liberation, total liberation from samsara becomes distant dream. So we must change. So in order to change, we have to make sure that whatever advice that we have received from our teacher, from whomever, from Buddha or Bodhisattvas, we have to make sure that all this advice are applied into our daily life. By doing so, we will see great changes in life. The reason why we are not able to make changes or make progress in life is we we just listen, but we never contemplate in our heart. And most importantly, we do not apply in our daily life. And this is the reason why even 30, 40 years after embracing Buddhism, we never change, and we start to ask ourselves, why I am not improving? You know, the simple reason is not Buddha Dharma has become less effective. Buddha Dharma today is more relevant, and it will be always relevant, and it is always up to the date. We don't have to upgrade month after month. Buddha Dharma is always up to the date, and where we fail is we fail to apply in our daily life. Now, the third point explains why we need to overcome or avoid, eradicate all forms of negative emotion, the act of non-virtue. Because no act of non-virtue, our negative emotions are the main cause of our downfall. It is like a disease. When the disease is present in our physical body, we are not going to be well, and eventually it may take our life. Similarly, as long as emotion, negative emotions remains inside us, we are never going to be free, not just externally, most importantly, internally. So now we must overcome negative emotion. How are we going to do that? This is the question. You know, how are we going to do that? We have to, make sure that when negative emotion arises, no matter whatever kind of negative emotion, anger, jealousy, hatred, no matter whatever, the moment, this is how the third point deals with negative emotion. The third point explains how we can overcome. The moment when the first negative emotion arises, we have to immediately recognize. That is the first thing, the most important step. The second step, the moment when you recognize that the negative emotions start coming, rising inside us, we have to immediately bring all the advice, most importantly, effective antidote to all these negative emotions. Okay? And finally, we should never host this negative emotion, because hosting negative emotion brings us our downfall. We should immediately make sure that we have to work skillfully and wisely learn how to manage this negative emotion, because we all have negative emotion. It is impossible to say that we can get rid of negative emotions. That is impossible, okay? What we can at least do is manage. You know, you may hear this word from many, not just from the Buddhist practitioner, but even outside world. Manager, good manager. What good manager means? Literally, it means who can manage the situation in companies, where companies can grow, make profit, and benefit everybody. Similarly, what we learn here is, of course, eventually eradicate emotion, but most importantly, for the moment, as we are ordinary human being, we have to manage negative emotion skillfully and wisely. So this is what third point explains. Now, you may hear this, you may hear from a lot of people. They say, or even I heard, from people saying that, oh, emotions are not bad. We should let emotion, let it grow. And there are sometimes advices given. Actually, I've heard myself, let emotion grow. If you let out your emotion, then you become so happy, then you feel more comfortable. But in fact, that's the other way around. Suppose when your anger grows in you, and instead of learning how to be patient, if you let your anger come out from you, what happens? You may hit someone, you may use hard word to someone. The immediate consequences is somebody may scold you or use bad words against you, and you may get beating. Somebody may hit you. So and there's no end to the problem, and that is just the beginning. Then what happens if you hit someone, scold someone? Later on, you have to regret so much. You cannot sleep. Then probably you may have to take sleeping pill. You may have to go for a holiday, and you have to go back and say, sorry, what I have done is wrong. I'm sorry. In worst cases, you may be imprisoned because of your action. Okay, so best way is to manage our negative emotion, but not letting emotion come out and deal with. This is maybe for some it may work, but for many it may not work. Therefore, it is so important to make sure that don't let your negative emotion controls you. I think this is very, very important. Now, the fourth point, I would like to share you with the fourth point. So if you say, is this negative emotions, are they powerful? This is the question. Many times, I was asked, Rinpoche, my anger, my jealousy, my hatred is so powerful. I cannot deal with. They are more powerful than me. Yes, it is true. If you let your emotion, negative emotion grow in you, they will eventually consume you. It's like the fire. So we cannot do that. So now the fourth point explains how we deal with this negative emotion. Negative emotion, actually in its original form, it is not powerful. It is not powerful at all. When you can feel it, when anger slowly goes in you, or hatred slowly goes in you, or jealousy slowly goes in you, you will never, you feel that they are powerless. This is where the problem begins, So we should never. The reason why all these negative emotions are powerful, because firstly, we nurture them. Actually, we look after them. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. The moment when you start to meditate, the sleepiness, the drowsiness, laziness all comes in. And during the meditation, when you sleep for even for a few seconds, you feel so comfortable. And this is actually, you are looking for a trouble. Now the danger is you will fall asleep. So what we need to do, immediately the antidote has to kick in. Okay? Therefore, we nurture our negative emotion. Secondly, when this emotion, when the time goes on, our emotion becomes stronger and begin to take control of our life. And finally, these negative emotions will also will have a capacity to ruin our precious life. Therefore, no matter whatever kind may be negative emotions, we have to deal with and immediately overcome with the antidote. This is very, very important. You know, I've been traveling a lot, and I've seen and heard from so many students, so many students. I think many students, everywhere, many places, you know, we tend to have a lot of jealousy, okay, and then you know, suspicion. Anger is not so much. Suspicion. Oh, something happened because so and so did something. I heard from someone. It is a rumor, or we presume that somebody said that. No, we react all based on assumption, which is dangerous. This will lead us to more trouble. So this is something we have to keep in mind. And then stubbornness. You know, stubbornness can be very, very negative, evil to practitioner. If you want to see changes, changes is possible unless you're willing to change. There's a saying, all habit die hard, you know. So we cling to our old habit. Therefore, we never change, even though we receive so many precious teaching from so many different masters, you know. Like for instance, if your storeroom is filled up with all the junk, unwanted things, and if you buy a very expensive goods, you want to store in your storeroom, you can't because all the rubbish are there. So what do you need to do? You have to empty your storeroom so that all your precious goods can be installed. So similarly, as a Buddhist, as a practitioner, if you are looking for changes in your life, you have to make sure that you should be open to all the ideas. Don't hold on to your stubbornness. Okay, this is very, very important. And finally, the fifth point explains why, you know, why emotion, you know, powerful. The reason why emotions becoming powerful to many of us. We have to deal with the emotion. We have to get rid of emotion. The reason why emotion is powerful, firstly, when emotion comes, we don't notice because it doesn't harm. You know, as I mentioned earlier, during the meditation, if you fall asleep, it doesn't hurt you, it doesn't hit you. You feel very comfortable. That's why we become careless, firstly, and we tend to have a lot of we tend to have a lot of tolerance of negative emotion, which is so wrong. Okay, and what happens in the middle, the emotion becomes emotions start to take root inside us, and then emotions begin to change our way of life and even our thinking, changes, And then also however we act is not so wise. That's what happens when emotion takes root inside you. And at the end, emotion becomes overwhelming, then it totally overtakes your whole life. So your life will be ruined by emotion, okay, emotion. There, no matter what, we should be always mindful in the sense that don't host emotion, okay? Don't let emotion take root inside us. And you have to apply the teachings that you have received from teachers, apply them in our daily life. And this is the way we can deal with the emotion, okay? Emotion. So this is the first verses. But actually what I'm going to do, maybe tomorrow I can share I've written down, I have typed down this teaching briefly so I can share with you. So you will all have it so you can read slowly. If you can't digest everything that what I said today, share with you. Okay, now we are coming to the second part, which is try your best to practice act of virtue. Try your best to practice acts of virtue. So this is the second verse. Virtue is very, very important. Now, which again have 5 points. Okay. Virtue, act of virtue are actually the main cause of our happiness, good health, long life, everything that good that you wish to have and you wish your loved one to have. Okay. Sometimes people may say, oh, he is very lucky, you know, something good thing happened to him. Oh, he is very lucky, he struck a lottery. Lucky is just a word. How you are lucky is all due to accumulation of merit. You know, without the accumulation of merit, luck is just an empty word. So it is always something to do with accumulation of merit. So there are many ways you can cultivate merit, not through recitation of prayers, mantras, you know, sharing love and compassion, sharing, working for charities, working for, you know, for needy ones. From all these activities, you are able to cultivate the act of merit. Okay, this is very, very important. And now, how we cultivate merits? How we cultivate merit? Now, the second point explains how we can cultivate merit. In order to cultivate merits, we have to totally engage, you know, wholeheartedly engage physically, mentally, verbally, you know, in practicing act of virtue, which is very, very important. How we physically cultivate merit? Of course, there are many ways, but at least, you know, when you express yourself, always try to be pleasant, laugh at people, no matter whoever they are, not just your family members, could be anybody, even stranger. Laughing, you don't have to pay. There's no tax. It is free. It makes everybody happy. This is a physical way of expressing goodwill. Okay. And when you say something, doesn't have to be mantra, it doesn't have to be prayers, doesn't have to be you know, verses from Buddha Dharma. You can say, how are you? Share love, you know, kind hearts. You know, they can be practiced by anybody, not just Buddhist, by anybody. And most importantly, you know, when you think, where your intention has to be very pure. Don't always think bad about others. Okay, don't think bad about, because the problem with us, when you meet someone, or if somebody introduced to you somebody new friend, you always tend to think bad about others. Then only good about later, that will be too late. Okay, so we should always try to have a positive attitude of whatever you do in your life. This is very, very, very important, very, very important. Don't only think about negative, try to think about something positive. Okay, this is very, very important. So, of course, for Buddhists, this is something very, very important, even for non-Buddhists. You can be still meaningful in your life by acting positively, avoiding the act of non-virtue, or cultivating act of virtue. This is for our well-being. You don't have to be Buddhist. You can be a very good human being. There are many good human beings. So this advice that I'm sharing with you, the thoughts from Vinaya by Buddha, is actually not to be a better Buddhist, but actually a good human being. Okay, this is very, very important. Anything that you share with your family, someone that you care, if you can extend even to stranger, will be much, much more meaningful. Of course, when you share love and kindness, when you share good heart to others, we have to always share with our family first, because we are still ordinary human beings. Then slowly to our relative, then to friends, then to strangers, then eventually even to someone that you don't like. We are able to share this. This is just a way of training. But it is not just beneficial for others, but it is beneficial for oneself. Okay, so this is something you can think about. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is right. You should do that. My way or no way, there's no such thing in Buddhism. There are so many ways. If you think that this is helpful, you should embrace, practice. If you think it's not helpful, forget it. There's no punishment, not to worry, okay? So you should see, is this meaningful? If it's meaningful, then you should apply into your daily life. Okay, this is very, very important. I'm trying my best to speak slowly. That is a complaint that I've received so many times, speaking too fast. So I'm trying to speak slowly. So I have to be mindful all the time. Now, the third part, the third point, which is among all the action, physical, mental, verbal act, the most important part is mental. Okay, without mental act, no matter what you do, it's not going to bring you, wishful benefits. So mental act is very, very important. This is where, Buddhism always advocate. Practice is not about the quantity. Practice is not about the quantity, not about how much I practice. The practice is about quality, how we practice. This is where the benefit, the changes, the meaning, comes. So whatever you do, it has to come from your heart. It's not just you want to say, one time when I was studying in the state, one of the professors said to me, "Hey, Garwang," they call me Garwang. When people say good morning to you morning, it doesn't mean that they are saying good morning to you. It's just a way of life, okay? So I said, wow, okay. So here we are making further meaningful. You are not just saying good morning and how are you to others just because this is a way of life, but you are truly saying from your heart. So this becomes more meaningful, more meaningful. So when you say something, it has to come from your heart. This is very, very important. Like for instance, when you just know one word of prayers, Amitofo, there's very popular word in in Buddhism, in Taiwan, even in Singapore, Malaysia. When you call temple, they will say, instead of good morning and oh hello, they say Amitofo, So even if you just know one word, Amitofo, and if you recite this mantra from your heart, okay, may Amitabha help all, may Amitabha liberate all. When you have such intention, this is more powerful than praying for hours and hours, doing meditation for hours and hours. And if you are simply doing for your own beneficial sake, then it doesn't help. So intention is very, very important. So now coming to the fourth point from the second verses, fourth point for the second verse, act of virtue is essential. Acts of virtues are actually essential to our well-being. It's not because it is important to our practice, because emotion disturb our stability of our mind. When you have emotion, you are not allowed able to sleep. You have to take sleeping pill, or you have to listen to music. And I know many Dharma friends who said to me, in fact, when I can't sleep, I read Dharma book. Maybe it helps. Maybe that works as a sleeping pill. Anyway, I'm just kidding. So it is very important. Act of virtue is very, very important. And also because act of virtue, which is wholeheartedly cultivated, this distinguishes, differentiates between what is virtue and non-virtue. What is virtue and non-virtue. Because if your intention is not there, then no matter what you do, even if you recite prayers only for selfish interest, it's not much of virtue. So the line between act of virtue, such as recitation of prayers, or sharing love and compassion, or act of non-virtue, which is like anger, hatred, jealousy, the line is very thin, because, like for instance, sometimes anger can be meaningful. Like for instance, when your child is very naughty, the parent though actually is not a true anger. They have to show a little bit of black face to actually discipline their children. Sometimes it happens, but doesn't mean that they are truly saying from their heart. However, act of virtue is very, very important. And also emotions, especially you have to be watchful of emotion, because today many people suffering from stress. Stress is related to our negative emotions. Stress would destroy or ruin our life. Okay, so we have to be very careful and make sure that all these negative emotions do not overwhelming you, by applying the teaching of Buddha in our daily life. Finally, coming to the fifth point, according to the second verse, how we can guarantee that our actions are meaningful. Our actions are meaningful. So what we need to do is for morning when you wake up, you have to make sure that today, whatever I do will be always positive. My action will be always meaningful. And throughout the day, until you go to bed, make sure that you are always mindful and always make sure that don't let your negative emotion affect your way of life, the Buddhist way of life. Make sure that all this negative emotion do not affect your daily your life, okay, until you go to bed. So before you go to bed at night, you sit down for a moment and then you try to recall what I have done. If I've done something meaningful, then you rejoice, okay? If I've done something wrong, then you regret and commit yourself not to do it again. So this is very important. If you have done something meaningful, your action is worthwhile, then you wish everybody can do like me, and even better, may all of them be happy, healthy, and prosperous, okay? If I have done something bad and you pray that all the bad things that done by others, my bad action represents all the bad action of others, okay? So this is the attitude that you should have. By doing so, you are able to cultivate so much merits, so much of benefits, okay? So this is something very, very important. So now we are coming to the third point, which is all forms of Buddhist practice are simply intended to tame our monkey mind. All forms of Buddhist practice are simply intended to tame our mind, okay? So this, today the phrase monkey mind is very famous, yeah? Because monkey are mischievous, always destructive, If our mind becomes like a monkey, then becomes very destructive to our meaningful life. So what these are saying, in fact, so these verses also have a 5 point to share. The first point explained, actually Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, in his whole life, he has actually gave 84 different teachings to his disciples throughout the course of his life. Okay, through the course of his life, Buddha Shakyamuni gave 84 different teachings. Okay, there's so much, there's so much, and especially in this age, we are living in the technology age. Nobody has time to spend so much time in time to practice. We want everything fast, like we have now instant noodle, we have instant coffee, and also many wish to have an instant realization. Instantly they want to become Buddha, which is not possible, okay? But at least if you embrace these 4 verses, I think this will definitely help you. Now, if you want to wish to learn Buddhism, there's so much and so vast and so deep. But if you make it short, if you summarize, 4 verses explain everything. The main purpose of all this teaching, what is the main purpose? Of course, there are a few. Firstly, to acquire relief from the negative effect of destructive emotion, temporarily to acquire relief from ill effect of negative effects of emotion, our emotion. Okay, negative effect of our emotion. Of course, finally, to attain Buddhahood for the sake of everybody. We are working for everybody, not only for ourselves. But above all this teaching, what is the main purpose of the teachings? To tame our wild monkey mind. Okay, to tame our monkey mind. If mind go wild, this brings so much of destruction. Let me give you an example. Killing is a very serious crime. So according to Buddhist Vinaya, what makes killing a complete killing? There are 4 points. The most important part is the intention. You want to kill. Second, you take a knife and go towards someone to kill them. Okay. Third, you stab someone with a knife. Okay. Finally, when the person dies before you. Okay. So this becomes a complete killing. But if you don't have an intention, if you don't have a mind to kill someone, it is killing, but it's not a complete killing. Even then, it's not a murder. Like for instance, accidentally, if you throw stone from the window and somebody, the stone hits someone's head, and if somebody dies accidentally, you have killed someone, but you don't have an intention. So this is different from with the intention. So mind is the most important part of important for Buddhists. No matter what you practice, what you listen, what you contemplate, okay, when you meditate, all the purpose, the main purpose is to tame your wild monkey. There's a Pandita in India, I think it's from Nalanda, yeah? I think so. Shantidewa, there's a Pandita called Shantidewa. He said, he's a very well-known Pandita, He said, if a wild elephant kills you, you will lose your precious life. It's very bad. It is very, very bad. You will lose your precious life. But you will just lose this life. But we have many, many lives. However, if your mind goes wild, the wild mind can destroy many, many lifetimes. Therefore, wild elephant is dangerous. Wild monkey is mischievous. Above all, if our mind goes wild, this is the most dangerous. Therefore, we have to make sure that our wild mind, a monkey mind, is tamed. Okay, this is very, very important. Now, coming to the third point from the third verses. In Buddhism, there are so many practices. Buddha has given so many teaching. The essence of all this teaching, what is the essence? What is the purpose of all this teaching is simply to tame our mind, okay? So the main component of Buddhist practice, the most essential component of Buddhist practice is to tame our wild mind. So this is the most important. Okay, now coming to we are coming quite close now, so we just have 2 minutes. Okay? The fourth point. So our main goal of any practice that we embrace in Buddhism is to tame our mind. So it is very important to make sure that you are constantly mindful. So whatever that goes inside your mind, you have to filter. Be mindful. Always filter all the thought that coming in your mind. If it's something negative, harmful to yourself and others, immediately you try to stop it. If it's meaningful, it is beneficial, then let it come, let it grow. Okay, this is very, very important. And especially we have to be watchful all the time about negative emotion, because this is a very destructive to our meaningful life. Now, as Buddha rightly said, mind is the creator of everything. Like for dream, when you dream, you can have a very pleasant dream. You can have a very scary dream, nightmare. But while you are dreaming, you may think that everything is real. Whatever you are dreaming is real. The moment when you wake up, there's nothing to show to anybody. There's nothing to show to anybody, okay? You cannot say, oh, this is what I dreamed yesterday. You cannot bring your dream and show to someone. That's not possible, okay? Similarly, according to Buddha, actually you can analyze. One thing about Buddhism, what makes Buddhism very logical and meaningful is, like Buddha himself said, don't just accept and listen because I said. Buddha said, you have to analyze, you have to study. And if you, when you study, after studying, after analyzing the teachings Buddha has given to us, if you think it's meaningful, then you embrace. If it's not meaningful, then you can just leave it there. That makes Buddhism something very, very logical. Like everything that we see externally actually is not real. There's a saying by some of the masters, we are like a guest. Our body is the guest house. So we cannot be fighting so vigorously, so angrily for this life, because we are here for a short trip. Nothing is permanent. It is like the dream. The moment when you wake up from the dream, there is nothing you can bring back. Okay, so whatever our life is, could be different lives that we lead, but these are all like a dream, not real at all. So we shouldn't cling too much to this life, and don't let your anger, jealousy, hatred destroy friendship, family, and everything, because we are simply here as a guest. This is something that you have to remember. So coming to the fifth point, so this tells us that whatever we are practicing in Buddhism, of course, first reason is to, acquire temporary relief from ill effect of all the negative emotions, and ultimately to become Buddha for the sake of all. But most importantly, to tame our wild mind, because if our mind goes wild, then this will bring all kinds of destruction. Okay, therefore we have to be always mindful, always watchful about our action. This is very, very important. Now, coming to the final point, this is the Buddha Dharma. This is the Buddha Dharma. Okay, the last verse. This is the Buddha Dharma. So what they say in brief, if you are cultivate act of virtue, by doing all the right things, doesn't have to be just recitation of mantra, prayers, simply sharing love and kindness, within your family, friends, even stranger, even to your enemies. Secondly, not to avoid cultivating act of non-virtue, such as act of jealousy, act of hatred, act of anything that doesn't help us, help others in the short term, in the long term. Okay, so these are the two actions that you should avoid. And as I mentioned earlier, the line between these two actions are very thin. It is distinguished, differentiated by our motivation, the act, our mind. So you have to be very clear in our thinking. Okay. Finally, by embracing the teachings of Buddha, the Bodhisattvas, the Arhats, teachers, if you are able to tame our wild monkey, if we are able to tame our wild monkey, so this is called Buddha Dharma. So as I mentioned earlier, Buddha gave 84,000 different teachings, but if we sum up what this all means, it actually explained in 4 verses. Try to cultivate more act of virtuous deed, firstly. Secondly, try to avoid all kinds of act of non-virtue. Third, make sure that you apply all the teaching that you have received in order to tame our wild mind. So this is called Buddha Dharma. So if somebody says, what is Buddha Dharma? So this is what we call Buddha Dharma. Okay, so I would like to leave it here. I think we are almost hour now. We're almost hour now. Probably you may have questions. I can help you to answer if I can. And once again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizer and to everybody, and for having me here to share my thought about Buddhism. And also, I know there are many people listening. I want to wish you all good health, prosperity, longevity, and make sure that you keep yourself safe, because the pandemic is not over. So make sure that you keep safe yourself. Okay, thank you so much. So we can have a question and answer now. Okay.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. I feel very blessed because the fact that we are still able to listen to the Buddha Dharma, also from a venerable great masters like Rinpoche is really a blessing. It means that it is also the merits that we have collected from before, I'm sure. And Rinpoche really summarized the teaching of the Buddha very well. I listen everything and I take note everything. And I hope that every participant also can listen, but not only listen, but also contemplate and integrate the teaching into the daily life. So Rinpoche, we have 5 questions for now from different countries. I will read them one by one and I will give Rinpoche to answer. The first question is from Chinese language. Venerable Rinpoche, I would like to ask a question. When I meditate, my mind seems to wander, thinking a lot of things. Are there any solutions that Rinpoche could suggest? Thank you, Rinpoche.
You have just listened, monkey mind. I think it's normal. It's normal to wonder, this is normal. This is always the case, not to worry. But at least it is good because you know that your mind is wandering. That's the first step to correct yourself. I think be mindful. You have to know. I've explained the points. When the moment your mind start to wander, immediately recognize. Secondly, bring mindfulness. And third, make sure that mind always remains with you. But however, one thing you have to keep in mind, we are ordinary human beings. Mind does wander. What we can do is make sure that wherever the mind goes, make sure that you are always mindful. I think that's one way you can move forward.
Thank you, Rinpoche. The second question is from Bahasa Indonesia. Good evening, Rinpoche Tashidele. How can we train to refrain from thinking negatively towards people who don't treat us well?
I have just explained to you, sometimes we don't want, and due to habitual tendency from past life. Like some children, when they're even very young, they are so always smiling, always gentle, always, joyful. But some children look very angry, very upset. So this is all due to our habitual tendency. So you have to make sure that, I have just explained to you, I will share this teaching with you. The moment that we have to take a baby step, starting from, from now, if I say, when the negative emotion comes, when it's small, we can overcome. But then if we let it grow, take root inside you, then becomes overwhelmed. So make sure that if we do not host negative emotion, then negative emotion does not have any place to move. Can you find, or this is the apartment where all the negative emotion lives, or this is the country, this is the place? There's no such thing. When it's in us, it makes all the trouble. The moment we let them go out of us, they have no place to go, this negative emotion. So we have a power. As long as we have a will, we can.
So maybe practically what we can do when it comes to other people, maybe we can say that we must understand other people as they are also us, just like us, that we have also the strong tendency to do the bad habitual things.
Yes, I think if you put, put in the shoes of others, then you will know this. We need to see from all perspectives. When you understand the perspective of others, their situation, their circumstances, then you are able to slowly cool down.
Okay, thank you, Rinpoche. The third question is from Thai layperson. Maybe it's quite similar, but maybe Rinpoche have another answer. What causes klesas grow stronger within us, and how do we handle it?
What is that?
Klesas, afflictive emotions. Klesas, kilesa.
Afflicted, you mean like that harmful emotion, is it?
Yes.
Is it harmful emotion?
Yes, it is a harmful emotions, the cause of all our sufferings.
You know, because of course, habitual tendency is the one thing. The second thing is that, because we are living in a very difficult situation, difficult environment, and due to stressful life, this emotion tend to go in everyone. The first step to recognize that emotions, negative emotion, inflict this is called defilement. It has all the ill effects. It doesn't bring benefits to us, benefit to others. So we have to recognize that this is something that we have to work to slowly first manage, okay, then slowly overcome, then eventually eradicate. That's how we need to work toward this negative emotion, because I think inflicted emotion are actually not that easy as we might say. It's difficult, but then as I've explained in the beginning, we need to apply all the advice from gurus and make overcome this kind of situation. Okay.
Thank you, Rinpoche. So if
All
I
the
may,
questions are very good.
if I may summarize from what Rinpoche said before, that because the afflictive emotions or the defilements or klesas are all deep rooted as our habitual tendencies from many lifetimes. That's why it is so hard for us to overcome it. So we have to change our new habit, and it's not something easy to do. It's not like a one night thing to do. Yes, so we have to be more persistence and patience, I guess, Rinpoche.
Yes.
Thank you. The next question is from Indonesian layperson. Good evening, Venerable Rinpoche. What's the difference between the virtue of offering food to bhikkhu sanghas and the virtue of offering food to beggars who need food? I have the same intention for both actions, which is to transfer the merit towards every suffering human beings.
It's a good question. Depends how we answer. See, as many teaching says that actually in terms of merit, it's both are very good. One you are giving to bhikshus, one another giving to someone needy ones. Both ways you can cultivate merit. So in terms of merit, I don't think there's so much of merit. But then the difference here is like bhikshus, when you support bhikshus and bhikshunis, they are working for more people. They are able to give teachings. By teaching, they are able to liberate so many people. I'm saying because I'm myself a monk, but then that's what it said in the teaching, because bhikshus, bhikshunis are one of the three refuge. Yeah. So if you say in terms of blessing, maybe offering bhikshus are more meritful, but then you can't say that. It is less important to give charity to needy ones. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Rinpoche. The next question is from Thai layperson. Namaskara. I would like to ask, what are the practical actions that we can do to show love towards the community?
I think that's a very good, good question. I think if you say in Buddhism, strictly in Buddhism, practice is one of the way you can show caring for others, like by dedicating the merits to everybody. Firstly, secondly, doing something like working for charities, working for like volunteering in a hospital, sick patient, wherever that there are so many programs where you can be meaningful, like such a charity work. This way, I think you can benefit a lot. Yeah?
Okay, thank you, Rinpoche. I think this is going to be the last question.
Okay.
Thank you very much for all Rinpoche's kindness and wisdom to all beings. Rinpoche, if we didn't have intentions such as killing, will we still get the bad karma from killing?
Not serious as having intention, when you have an intention, it becomes a complete killing. But when you lack intention, it becomes less less serious. Like even in the law, if you intentionally kill someone, it's more serious than by accidentally throwing stone. If you kill someone, the sentence will be less. So it's similar. Yeah.
Rinpoche. Also, I would like to extend the wish from the layperson who asked the question before. He said, may all Buddha and Bodhisattva always bless Guru Zurmang Garwang Rinpoche with safety, healthy, long life, firm and supreme life for the benefit of all beings. Thank you so much to Guru Zurmang Garwang Rinpoche and all Buddha and Bodhisattva.
Thank you. Thank you to all the translators also. They done very good job.
Thank
By
you,
the way,
Rinpoche.
Graduate.
Thank you, Rinpoche. No worries. I think all the translators also do the great job, Rinpoche. Once again, it is a very great blessing for all of us to still listen to the Dharma, the precious Dharma from a great master, Rinpoche, today. And again, just like what Rinpoche said in his teaching, it's not only listening. It is important to really contemplate the teaching, what we listened just now, and put it into practice, to integrate the teachings into our daily life. That's how the teaching will be meaningful. Okay, so the next thing is, Rinpoche, I would like, because we have made a great merit today by listening and sharing, and the happiness will be boundless if we sharing our merit today. So I would like to ask Rinpoche to lead the dedication prayer for us.
Sonam ti tamje zepanye tomnai dibe kana pamche jega nache balam chupai sebe son dowa. Thank you.
CD for sharing the wisdom of the Dharma. Also, because of your compassion, we are all here today listening to you. And here, because we cannot meet face to face for now, because we are online here meeting together, there's a small token of appreciation and gratitude. We have some kind of e-certificate. Just like this is how to show how grateful we are for our guru today. And this small token of appreciation doesn't lessen any of our gratitude towards you, Rinpoche. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, yes, before we close today's session, I would like also to give credits to all the committees who work behind. There are a lot of friends, a lot of volunteers who work tirelessly and with a great teamwork from IT team, the help desk team, the translators team. We have from Thai language and then Bahasa Indonesia and Chinese language. Also the Q&A team, they're all working here together. I couldn't be more proud of them. And I feel so thankful because I'm surrounded with these people. Thank you. There will be an ending credits later.
Thank you to everybody.
Also,
there.
yes, thank you, Rinpoche. Yes, Rinpoche.
Today we don't have a light here, and one of the internet is gone, and I don't know another one is working. Otherwise, we couldn't continue the teaching. So it's a blessing, No light.
Wow. Emaho.
Order.
Okay, thank you, Rinpoche. So, yes, so this is the end of today's teaching, but I hope the spirit of the teaching continues, lighting up your energy to keep practicing, to be a better human beings. And Rinpoche, I wish you long life.
Thank you.
Please, I hope you stay healthy.
Thank you too. Okay, thank you to all.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Yes.
Thank you.
Also, all the participants, I would like to remind you that this is not the end of the auspicious blessings we got. We have next week until 8th of May. Every week we have great teachers will be sharing with us the wisdom of Dharma. On 24th April, we will have Venerable Luangpor Inthawai Santussako Mahathera from Thailand. Okay, so the rest is from Thailand actually. On May 1st, we will have Venerable Ajahn Jayasaro. And then on 8th May, we will have Venerable Tan Ajahn Cagino. All of them are, we will be having the translations from bahasa Indonesia, English, and Chinese. Yes, so please make sure if you have registered before, so if you are watching this today, you can still use the same Zoom link to join the next sessions. But if you are watching the rerun of this session later, you can still also register on there's a poster there. You can see the poster and there's a link over there. You can register yourself there and there will be an automatic email sent to you about for the link to join. Thank you so much again. Rinpoche, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you again next week. Tashi Dele.
你是在命里为俘虏牵挂，像一场迷雾笼罩着你呀，淡薄的想法，自在的人啊，像一场春雨滋润着莲花，浮生像落花季，流水年华，寂寂与静谧，奔波的人啊，欣然的美丽，看凡尘变化，盛开的绽放，羞耻的生活。心情像自由的云朵，看欢喜随尘